Yo, what is going on YouTube? Today I'm going to be bringing you a sort of VOD review, but more condensed down, just covering like mostly fights and like important beats that I see in one of my games. I'm going to be going through one of my ranked games here on Paradox and just kind of watching the replay and talking about what's going on, what I'm thinking about, what's happening in fights, and what to look for and stuff like that. Gonna just skip ahead to laning and stuff, so you guys don't have to sit through everything. I'll probably rewind anything I see that's interesting while I skip through and watch this. Actually, I'll talk about one thing. The basic like fundamental trade philosophy in this game. Very dependent on line of sight. You can see how everyone is kind of playing around sight lines to avoid taking damage. The basic fundamental concept is that you have to target the minions, right? Like, they have to shoot our minions to get the money, so they have to play in line of sight. So I have a general idea of where they're going to play because of where my minions are. And I can play around my sight lines and my minions to avoid getting poked. Also, if they have to shoot a minion when it's low health, they can't shoot me. A lot of times you can take a trade knowing like, oh, this minion's about to die. I'm going to peek on top of the minion. They have to choose whether or not to shoot me or to shoot the minion. This lane is rather brutal to fight early. I have a Geist in my lane who's not super strong early, and they have a Mirage Viscus who are some of the strongest laners in the game, in my opinion. Alright, extra regen first item, just because this lane is really poke heavy. Mirage in general is just a very difficult laner for most people until they get level 6. Focusing a lot of my poke on the Viscus because while he has Cube, he does not have Tornado to escape. He doesn't have the Gap Closer. He has to do like a more difficult Puddle Punch, like movement tech to get away from things. So when I can prioritize poke, I'll prioritize poke on him. Another thing to mention is that every wave has a healer minion. These minions will heal you twice in the current meta. This has changed a few times over the course of the game, but in the current state of the game, these have 2 charges on them, and they heal a good substantial amount, especially in the early game. A lot of the poke you can do, like levels 1 and 2, can be completely negated just by the healer minion. So always take note of where the enemy healer minion is in the wave and prioritize killing it. You'll see that I shoot the healer minion almost immediately most waves when I can. If I have the health to afford to like aggressively peek and they can't trade back with me, I'll try to kill their healer minion every time. Here I made a mistake. I should have attacked the Mirage in lane rather than trying to isolate the Viscus. I heard him doing the camp, but he ends up just burning Cube. Now's my time to kind of pressure him more, as Cube is a 45-second cooldown. If you see anybody burn Cube early, very worth trying to pressure. So let's talk about buys. We buy high velocity, boots, and extra health. Again, the all-in's kind of scary from these guys. The poke damage is annoying, so I'll take the extra 160 health and weapon damage. High velocity is very good because it's going to help you with confirming your souls and denying their souls. Boots good for roam. Sprint speed, health regen, weapon damage. Boots are just good. It's a MOBA. Moving around the map is good. This is a really good trade. Here I actually managed to get both of them grouped up for my nade. So we proccing our Headhunter aggressively. Forces them to back up. We get them both grouped here, which is really nice. Which means we can land a nice Carbine into a double grenade, forcing out a Cube again. So our pressure is really solid right now, in terms of like field presence. I don't think we kill these guys in lane though until later. So I'm gonna skip ahead until actual fight where we kill. See that our Kelvin has killed the Abrams multiple times, so he's pretty strong. He says he's gonna come gank, and this is where I'll actually break this fight down. So, one, I'll talk about what I should be looking at, like to take this fight. So I want to talk about the process of like what you should check before you make a decision. And the first thing to always check is the map. The map is so important. This guy right here needs to be what you're looking at. This should be informing your decisions every time. The second is I check the top. I check the health bars of all the current members that I can see. Now you can't see the health unless you've actively done damage to someone, or you can see them on your screen. This is from spectator only, but it's super important to check the top and the map. These are the two things you should check almost every time to inform your decision. So for this spot specifically, I notice two things that would probably inform us to play aggressive here. One, wave is pushing here on the left side, so we're pressuring this guardian on the left side of the map. Two, we just got to kill here on the far right side of the map. So one of these two things is going to be have to respond to. Like this has to happen. These two people we saw in lane earlier. So we can essentially account for every single person on the map. So we know that right here, this is a 3-person advantage. We have our Kelvin coming from his lane with his little ice path, I'm sure. He'll be here shortly. I know these two are... This is basically guaranteed numbers advantage because I've been tracking things on the map. Look at the map. It's so important to look at the map. The maps in MOBAs are like cheating in terms of game sense. It will help you so much if you can just determine, okay, I know that things have to be responded to. Like if they choose to not respond to 2 people pushing this guardian or the wave here, they're losing a bunch of money, and we have an even fight at worst here. So that's a big part of the decision making tree, is that the map should be guiding a lot of your decisions very consistently. So now I will show the fight after we've broken all that down. And then I will go back and explain the mechanical decisions and why I do what I do. So pretty easy kill, just gets this pressure on the map. Kelvin has to go back and catch wave. But the important thing to note here is the item I purchased before this fight, which is Slowing Hex. I specifically purchased Slowing Hex because Slowing Hex disables movement abilities, which includes Mirage's dash. So I specifically tell my teammates in this moment, hey, I'm going to Slowing Hex Mirage and then swap him into you guys, dome him, and kill him. So I've conveyed this to my 3 people who are in my lane. I let them know, and then it's just pretty straightforward from there, honestly. I charge my Carbine, I immediately Carbine, Slowing Hex, wall, swap. So I'm going to do that a little slower for you guys so you can see the full combo there. So again, I charge the Carbine, Geist uses her 1, I roll forward, he's in the Geist 1, he's shooting Geist, they still don't know about Kelvin yet, I Carbine, Slowing Hex, wall, swap. So it's much faster than it like seems, but it's not that hard once you get the hang of it. I recommend putting your active that you use the most on one of your mouse buttons if you have side mouse buttons. I think that's a really good bind to use, and it helps relieve a little bit of your keyboard hand in terms of all the inputs you have to do, because you also want to be able to do movement and other things. But that gives us a lot of tempo. I then also say, hey, let's go yellow and gank Abrams. I'm pretty sure this guy owns us here. Yeah, so I'll watch this fight and explain like what happens, what is wrong. Actually, I do think we kill him here, but he ends up double killing us later in this game. The Slowing Hex, so I'm not scared of the pin right now. So I should have been tracking when Slowing Hex expired. This is good. I just get away from the stun. Just short. I don't have reach yet, so miss my swap. Gonna skip ahead till more things happen. Here's a bad fight I take, and I'll explain why it's bad. 1, I'm not actually ahead of this Abrams. He's just hit his spike with melee charge Berserker, so he's actually quite beefy. He has guaranteed heavy melee from his pin, and he has a wave with him. I go towards the backside. I don't have my swap either. So, I mean, just look how much damage I take just from the 1 light melee. This is a character you can't really give, like, if he gets close to you, you're going to lose the fight. I get chunked for half of my health almost instantaneously. and then I get pinned heavy melee'd, and I'm dead. The fight is over at this point. Like, I've lost. So, but this is an important fight in terms of information, because I know that he's not gonna spam heavy melee, so I don't need to be like looking for parry too excessively against him. I know that he is smart and holds pin for when it's guaranteed. So he's not a bad player. Down. Nothing really too crazy there. Pretty standard, just like swap through a wall. So our early game's not like fantastic, so this is when Paradox really needs to kind of come alive. Get a nice little swap slowing hex on the Wraither. This is great. I'm gonna go back to this and do it in 1x. So let's talk about approaching this fight. Let's do the map breakdown. Talk about what we see and we know. I wish I could do like Fog of War, but let's go back a bit and talk about the map state before this fight, so I know what's going on. So I remember seeing these two in mid. This wave is going to be stacking here. Geist is not there. We have two right side and an advantage. Flash is on the way. And we don't know where Hayes and Abrams are. So we will speed it up. We see people collecting for this right side fight. My team's talking about it. We want this Guardian. It's our flex slot, I believe, or it's the final Guardian to kill. They want to defend it. That's why we're all grouping. Here, the Lady Geist pings Mirage, so we know that they are at least down him. He has his ult, which is a global TP. That's the Shen ult of this game. I will mouse over for you guys so you can read it real quick. Target an ally or visible enemy hero on the minimap. He channels for a bit and then he teleports, gaining movement speed and fire rate until his next reload. It is very good. I mean, being able to like pressure other parts of the map and then TP in is just always going to be beneficial, especially because just no one else can have that response time of literally teleporting across the map. Now I hear the pin happen, so I'm not scared of going forward because I hear Abrams pin. Wraith is waiting for someone. I pull her through wall, slowing hex. She gets Warden caged. Not a lot you can do there. Mirage actually TPs to her into a pretty bad spot. His ult happens, but I'm just shooting her from afar, outranging the ultimate. I know this trade is really important for my team, and pulling through them here will create a lot of space. Try to snare Abrams in the ult. It's slow. Flash ends up dying here. Oof, that is rough. I think I just took... Yeah, so I got hit by a splatter. It triple bounced because he's maxing it. He's got Surge of Power on it. So splatter hits me for like 900 there. This is just kind of unlucky. You can't always look out for this. But yeah, because it triples and bounces 3 times on every corner here, it just kills it just nukes my health bar. Holy. So I just died to Viscous having this maxed early, which is fine. Like, that'll happen. You'll get one shot by things like that. Especially Paradox is not tanky and I have no armors yet. I'm sure this... Okay, so I buy Decay. I'm sure soon in this game I will be purchasing Spirit Armor. We're farming. Gonna speed through the farming. Catching waves. Till something more macro level happens. We decide to look for Urn. I pick up Urn. I use Carbine before I pick up Urn, which gives you a speed boost. I see this Abrams. Drop the Urn. Okay, so this is notable. So heavy melee forces you to drop the Urn. Abrams sees me walk through the lane here because he's pushed up really far. So he decides to aggressively pin after me. Kelvin is with me though, so this is a straight 2v1. I put a wall on the staircase to be able to kite back and forth through. I parry him on the light melee. He gets just killed. Which gives us a huge advantage because they don't really have any engage without Mirage and Abrams. Infernus is okay at engaging, but kind of dies very quickly. And the Urn is on our side because we're actually down enough money. So we're down enough souls that this Urn kind of just brings the game back to even. Okay, so we buy Warpstone as our second 3k item. Just a really nice utility item in competitive games and more difficult games. That repositioning tool is really useful. I carbine off the zipline here, getting a nice swap on the Mirage. My wall does silence now, as you can see by the purple effect. I slowing hex out of the silence. Not really anything any character can do to get away from you at that point. Pretty unavoidable, especially as Mirage. You get silenced into slowing hex. My team's there. He also gets Warden ulted. He kind of just dies, right? And so we're kind of just putting them on their back foot consistently here, keeping them down a man. I'm just, again, catching waves, protecting my base, trying to keep our waves managed and keep the space on the map available for my team. When our waves are pushed out, you can see that, like, because this zip line's here, kind of this bubble opens up to our team because we can always access the zip lines. If you're pushed in really far, you have much less of the map to access. You can farm much less, you can make less money, and you will fall behind, which is how it works. That's why keeping your waves pushed out and keeping the map playable for your team and yourself is just super good. And again, I've said before, but Paradox in general wants to kind of hover around this area of the map and kind of sit around the center and rotate between these two lanes, catching waves and looking for skirmishes in the middle game. Obviously, that's not a like true to life 100% always rule. There's times where you need to go to the side lanes, absolutely. But generally, in the mid game, if you can have others clear the side lanes and you're able to stay more towards the center, like here I'm clearing a side lane as my team fights. But it's just because I was closest to it and I was the first to react. A lot of times in ranked, that's all you can ask for. Fortunately, they pulled so much aggro on the left side of the map and we fought too long that they take the walker. I'm just fighting to protect my base guardians until my team gets there. Been really crazy there, just swap P cubes. Standard kind of interaction. We get heal bane now, so we have decay and heal bane, so quite a good amount of anti-heal. I'm vibing the music. Up ahead a bit more. Abrams overextends into our secret shop, dies. Whatever. Go for a raw swap, that was greedy. This is a bad fight, but we'll watch it. So here, this is again, we're gonna do the thing we always do, we're gonna check map. We see Wraith is pushing this wave in the far right lane. We know that Abrams is dead at the top. He's dead for longer than this because the timer's still counting down while the game is paused. So we know that this is straight up a 6v4, so we have an insane numbers advantage. Geist just had to burn swap, I think, to live against the Abrams. So we have pretty much all of our ults except for Lash might not be up because it's a longer cooldown, but I think every single other ability we have, and we have numbers advantage. So this is absolutely a fight we want to look to take. I probably shouldn't have greeted my swap here like I did. We catch this Abrams in our shop. We end up burning swap. We kill him though. It's good. Here I try to greed a wall swap blind from the Veil without carbining, which is just kind of a gamble. It pays off huge if I get him there, but it's very unlikely that I get him, especially without my... Oh, I do have the reach. Okay, we catch Mirage again. Slowing hex him. Can't tornado. A lot of Mirages will hold Tornado to try to avoid damage, so you slowing hex at a good moment. We actually end up losing this fight because it's so sloppy from the whole team. Okay, I think I have my Pristine Emblem. So now I kind of have my damage core online, so I can pretty much 1v1 anyone comfortably at this point in the game, as long as I don't get like Wraith ulted too badly. Okay, pushing on a side lane. We catch Haze here. Again, this is a pretty standard swap combo. I see my teammates are chasing Haze on the map here. They kill the Wraith there in the middle lane, left middle lane. And they're pinging Haze, so I walk over. Warpstone. Yeah, Warpstone, quick snare, wall swap. Hit a decay on him, so he's going to be very low. Can't lifesteal. Dies. I do not want to pick up this bag. Paradox does not scale that well in the late game. I'd much rather give it to my supportive characters or my Lash or somebody else is going to be doing a bit more. Pretty sure. Thinking about what to buy. I sell barrier for metal skin. Yeah, that makes sense. A lot of Mouse 1 characters. You're just waiting to see my Lash. I snare the Abrams to make sure his ult connects. He gets a nice slam on 3 people. I Warpstone in. There's a lot to track here. Okay, so let me break this down from free cam, because there's a lot that happens in this fight. Well, first let me watch from my perspective one more time. We get 3-man here. I try to throw a grenade on 3-man. I Warpstone in, trying to get grouped with my team and put wall down to allow them a place to kite and peel. Wraith ends up coming in and ulting. I swap her into the silence so she cannot throw cards. And it ends up netting us a pretty big win. The Lash ult's really what netted us that overall win, but I want to watch and see overall what happens in this fight. Lash ults. Tosses them all. They get Lash knocked up. Shiv is on them. Shiv ults the Infernus. Where's the Haze here? The Haze ult. So Haze dies instantly before her ult even comes. She just gets nuked by the Warden ult. They just get AoE down by all of our stuff. Wraith ends up getting swapped to the wall twice. Slowing Hexer, she can't do away. Shiv gets to the finish. Yeah, that'll do it. Here I'm just holding his position. This is a really weird fight, but I'll kind of talk about why I'm here and what I'm doing. So first, this starts out because I'm trying to swap Urn, right? I'm here to catch them as they turn Urn in. That's the initial plan of playing on this roof. Much as how like a Bebop can hook you from turning an Urn, I'm trying to swap him out of the Urn, pulling the Urn into our team. We're forcing them to drop the Urn, and then I'm there to melee the turn in, hopefully starting up a fight with a free like exchange. Hopefully I can like move around and live. But I get spotted. I miss my carbine and I miss the swap. They get the Urn delivery. For some reason, Abrams is here. I don't even know where he came from. Let's actually find out. He's climbing up knowing that I'm here. So the Infernus shoots at me. He must have communicated or pinged me. Abrams climbs up from this side and starts pushing me. I'm not paying attention to that because I just didn't expect an Abrams to climb on me like that. But I go for the swap. Lash rolls off. I get pinned. I put wall down immediately, Warpstone through to the other side. I pop my metal skin, which is going to stop any physical damage from going through, including punches. That's a very important thing to know, is that it includes bullets and melee attacks. All yellow damage types are blocked. So put wall down. I'm now using it to kite Wraith. I put Slowing Hex and Decay on Wraith. And then turn and look to my team down below. I'm still zoning off the Wraith, who cannot really engage in the fight with me and Warden both up here, patrolling here. I have great vision on everything going on in the fight down below, while I kind of chill up here. And again, I'm at the point now where we're almost at 30 minutes. I'm not as strong as some of these characters now, so I'm kind of relying more on team to get involved and do things. So now that we have a man advantage, I'm going to push up as a group here. But the main thing is that I kept their Abrams from engaging at a good time. I kept their Wraith from even getting involved in the fight at all with my Warden holding down that spot. So as soon as I saw the Wraith up on the high ground, I knew that that spot was a power position that I couldn't really afford to give up for free. Pushing Walker, my team is backing up. My Metal Skin here certainly. Swap. Warpstone, Metal Skin. And again, they're going to have a very hard time killing me. Viscus also does a lot of gun damage. He doesn't have puddle. So we get a nice clean fight. I think that's just 3v2. This is when the game tempo is going to really start snowballing in our favor, because we're catching up on these walkers, which is going to give a lot of team-wide souls back to us. We get all these picks, which is really nice. I just Metal Skin and walk at her because it's funny. Again, wall is super huge for stopping Abrams. It does percent health damage, so Scales very nicely against him, plus it silences him. Their team kind of just staggers here, and this gives us so much room to pressure them. Again, just pressuring Infernus there to keep away from us. Let's get these Guardians. I'm very low, so I decided to go back. Beat through that. Team's still pushing. I heal, I grab cooldown, and improved armor. Okay, and then I'm back in the fight. So 2 of my teammates died while I was gone, which is unfortunate. I make it back in the fight. I should have probably just swapped him there right away. It's kind of fine that I don't. I Warpstone up. I Metal Skin on the way out. I should have Warpstone up there. That's my mistake, I know immediately. Here I should Warpstone to height. I can probably get out here if I hold my Warpstone and go vertically. Also, I think cutting here, cutting left is incorrect. This is fine. Warpstoning to the height to get to the fan is good. Do a little damage. I see Wraith. I take the fan. She's gonna follow me with the fan. I cut left here. I should have gone right. What I should have done. Let me draw you the vision here. So what I should have done is I should have done a heavy melee cancel, a wall bounce here, heavy melee cancel, fly over here. And go this door. But instead I get chased here, and I'm just too close, and I can't get away. And then here I should have warpstoned up. I should have, like, double jumped right here and warpstoned vertically to break LOS up here, and then I can mix up left, right, through the middle. Makes it harder, but I just kind of run in a straight line and let them follow me. Carbine also increases your speed from the zip line. Oh, late on the swap, I was hesitant here. See, this is one thing you cannot do with swap is wait. Your carbine does not start for long enough for you to consider it after you've shot it. Here, I need to just pull the trigger on the swap immediately, but I wait till I land, and it's kind of messy. I still slowing hex decay him so he can't TP away, which is really good. But should have hit the swap. Should have just been a free kill. Saving the actives for later would have been good. Go back to clear minions. They start mid boss. There's a little movement route for you too. To get through that lane there, you can bounce off this wall here. Do an immediate double jump and clear this, so you actually save time instead of going around the whole zip line. You save a little bit of time going forward in the lane. I'm just here to swap in case they contest for rejuve. Pretty clean grab, so we're chilling. Now I just grab Urn to give us a little bit further of a push and soul lead with the start of the rejuve, since they're kind of all down in numbers anyways, since we got those picks. We get one last round of buys. I get rapid recharge to get more walls to silence. And now it's kind of just we group, we push, we end the game. We shove all of our waves. Rejuve helps with your minions are innately stronger as long as you have Rejuve on the team. So just overall map pressure is much easier to do once you have Rejuve. That's why it's kind of the game ender, similar to Baron if anyone's played League of Legends. And we all have metal skin now. Character can't really do anything. Here, Viscous is just trying to create space at this point. He's just burning time, so I think I call for us to avoid him in this spot. With rapid recharge, I can throw walls down a lot more often. Even just for like cover and things like that. It's very nice to have. Here, wall down here allows us to kind of walk forward a bit, play a little more up. So here, if I had just waited, I could have won us the game off this pick. This is a nice little trick I like to do pretty consistently because your carbine can freeze you in the air here. I carbine, right click to hover for a moment, If I have swap here, I just kill this guy. I wall swap, he's dead. I have decay for him, he just dies. I don't actually have decay. I use it right there. So a little early on that. I should have just waited the 3 seconds till I had my swap. Infernus go over steps. Get another pick. So now we're up 2. So we have fast respawns. Shiv is back alive as well, speeding down one of the lanes. And we, okay, and I get a nice swap on the Viscous. He fucks up his Warpstone. Place a wall before I go down. I'm just kind of keeping walls up, trying to make certain lanes impossible for them to play. At this point, I'm mostly just supportive and looking for priority targets to put my octaves on, things to wall. And at this point, I've kind of fallen off, but again, I get another swap here on the Wraith. She's silenced into my team. I metal skin this, put a wall down so I'm blocking the Hazelt. We end the game. Pretty straightforward. And although, you know, it doesn't feel like that the most outstanding of a game, 5-5 and 26, I'm involved in a lot of the kills on the map, and you look at the end of the game damage report, you know, not absent from fights, certainly. Doing a good chunk of damage, but providing a lot of utility and support and really opportune picks is what Paradox thrives at. Thanks anybody who took the time to watch this and enjoy my tips. My next video is probably going to be something focused on movement and movement routes and more like fundamental basic stuff. So tune in for that. That'll be coming up hopefully soon. Make sure you guys please leave a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.